Caps gave us a clinic on split pushing yesterday in the World's Game versus Spain Gaming. And today we're going to be breaking down Caps' split push as Yone, and we're going to be looking at all of the information that he's able to gather. We turn off we only see blue side's vision, so we'll see exactly what Caps sees on the map, and we're going to be able to break down how he's actually able to make this split push work. So we're going to start off in the sense that we're now 20 minutes in. And what does it mean that we're 20 minutes in? Well, it means that Baron's spawning. So it's really good for Caps to actually go towards the bot side of the map, because that's where no one's going to be able to contest him. We also see that we have a little bit of a matchup in the sense that we're playing versus Smolder and versus Aurora. And given how strong Caps and how farmed Caps is, no one's really able to contest us at this point in the side lane. So we see that we have very limited information, very limited vision. We don't really know what the enemies are doing, so therefore we cannot really continue pressuring bot. And then what we do is we actually opt in for the Gromp. But now our team, G2, starts the Baron, so that gives us a pressure point. If someone's responding to bot lane right now, that means that we can potentially force the Baron. But what happens is, because of the fact that we start the Baron, we are now able to pressure bot. We also get 2 grubs, so we get a lot of damage done. Our team goes off the Baron. That means that we also draw back pressure from the bot lane, because we don't want to get collapsed upon. This is going to be really important, guys. Whenever you're split pushing, you need to understand when you can pressure, but more importantly, when you cannot pressure. And it really depends upon a few factors. Number one, what is the enemy team doing? Where is the enemy team? What type of information do we have? But probably even more important, what is our team doing? What is our team up to? Are they pressuring? Are they resetting? Right now you can see that Caps sees that his team is onto a reset. They're not really able to pressure anything. So he's also taking the scuttle, because he knows that he cannot pressure side lane right now, because his team is not pressuring anywhere on the map. Right now he takes the bot lane wave. He takes a little bit of risk moving up forward here, especially with Yike in base. That's why he doesn't instantly go to the wave, and he only does it when he sees 3 of the enemies on mid. And now he has the information. So he's actually happy to just continue and put some pressure onto the side. In this case, we also see that the wolves are up because of him getting the vision of it onto the map, mainly because he checked it earlier. And now he gets some bit and pieces of information, and now his team starts the Baron again. So that means that he can actually continue pressuring the bot. So pretty rushed ability usage, I think, right here. I think he could have slowed it down a little bit, just use his Q3, get towards the Aurora. He had some information to the enemy, so I think he rushed his ability usage a little bit, but still, his team puts so much pressure on the opposite side of the map, while Caps is pressuring bot, which means that there's just this really hard decision for the enemies, what do they need to do? Do they need to commit onto the Baron? Do they need to commit onto Caps? And in the meantime, there's a little bit of a fight happening on top side, and we don't really mind that as Caps. Aurora's got no R. Aurora's TPing in, the enemies are getting a little bit more desperate, and what we do is we just continue to pressure bot. Why? Because of the fact that our team is pressuring there, so no one's able to answer us. In this case, we do opt to TP in. I think the main reason why he poured it in was because he did not want to take the inhib just yet, mainly because of the fact that his team died, so the time that they needed to pressure Baron before that would have actually not been worth to take the inhib. We want to get max value from the inhib, so I actually think that's a pretty good call from Caps right here. He stacks up the Q onto the Baron, and he gets this fantastic Q3 onto the Aurora, getting himself the pick. What's next? Okay, we're in a massive lull state right here. Analyze all of the things that are happening. We see that dragon is spawning in 33 seconds. So right now we know that the dragon is going to be the next play, and after dragon we're going to once again opt back in towards the Baron. So in this case we open up mid. We get mid prior, we get some farm, we get some control with the team. We see that the enemy doesn't really contest the dragon, so we can just take some farm, and once again we're back towards bot. This is going to be a rinse and repeat series, rinse and repeat session, in the sense that whenever we're moving bot, we're waiting until we have some information before we're going to be able to do anything. In the meantime, we're keeping our CS really high. Make sure that you have your Q3 stacked at all times. He's not confident pushing up here. This is huge. This is the most impressive moment I've seen so far in this particular series. Why? Because let's take a look at all the information that's able to be gathered. Let's zoom out in the game and see what Caps sees. So Caps sees right here that his team is resetting. So that means that if he pressures bot lane right now, he's in a lot of trouble. He only sees Rakan and Aurora right here. For the rest, he doesn't really have any other information. Maybe Maokai's hiding somewhere in the bush together with Xayah and Smolder ready to kill him. And if they kill Caps, they can TP in towards Nash and just brute force the Baron. So he's waiting for information right here. He's giving creeps, waiting for information. And he's being very, very careful. Now he spots the Maokai top, instantly back to the wave. Instantly. Now let's replay this sequence with now full vision. What was the enemy team doing? Well, they weren't really planning to catch Caps, but maybe a better team would plan to kill and catch Caps, because in this case, playing game didn't really know what to do with versus the split push, but maybe a champ like Bilgy or Genji will completely annihilate you or set you up into a little bit of a trap. So we're gonna zoom back in a little bit, not too far of course, and we're gonna move back to Caps. So also changing the full war again. What we see is that right now there is we're doing the exact same story right here. We're just split pushing bot. We're seeing the Maokai, the Rakan, the Xayah there, which means that it's very hard for the enemies to do something towards us. We E forward really far back, so that means that we can always just E back like this and make sure that we're never under any kind of dangerous threat. Once again, he needs to wait for his team to pressure. He spots the Aurora top, so he knows that he's solo versus the Smolder right here. And that's enough for him to actually go and pressure the side lane, because he's got enough information on what the enemies are doing. They need to contest the Baron, the enemies, otherwise they're going to be in a lot of trouble. And that gives him the opportunity to split push on bot here. See that Smolder is very annoying to deal with his high wave clear. But we're seeing some cinched action right in which that he's proxy firing 2 waves, which is pretty wild actually. I haven't not seen this that often in pro play, but it's really, really funny to watch. And eventually he also gets the, I think eventually, like, what happens is they catch the Xayah. They catch the Xayah because Xayah slightly overstays even after Mickey died. And what happens is that because Xayah is dead, they can basically guarantee themselves the Baron. The Baron is not really contestable. What Caps does, Caps actually stays on bot. Why does Caps stay on bot? Well, to maximize pressure and make sure that he doesn't lose any waves. Yes, he is incredibly vulnerable right here. And I think what he's doing right here is very, very dangerous, because if the enemy team overloads on him and kill him, they do lose a bit of Nash pressure. But he does get a little bit of damage out onto the turrets. And Aurora just comes and ults him. And Yone is a really good champ against Aurora, because Yone can just ult out. Once again, spots 2 people, makes it impossible for the enemies to contest the Nash. Now they got the Baron, and yeah, they're basically in a hard winning position from this point. So this is pretty great split pushing by Caps. I think he gives us a very nice clinic on understanding pressure, understanding when to push up and when not to push up. His E usage was also pretty good, in the sense that he always put himself out of risk. So his split pushing was so good in the sense that, like, when the enemies were not on the map, when his team was not pressuring, he was not taking any type of risks. That led him to in this fantastic position. So now he swaps up the lane assignments, goes towards top. At least in this case, it's not really necessary. He can just go mid, mainly because of the fact that they've got Baron. They don't need to go bot, because bot's already got the inhib. So what they want to play for is they want to play up for top, and they want to play up for mid right now, because that's where the next objectives are at. In this case, unfortunately, Mickey X died again. A little bit of a tricky engage, but it does allow ourselves to get like the mid tier 2. But unfortunately, not really much more, because of the fact that our siege kind of got halted by us killing, by the enemies killing the rel. So what do? Is we just take all of the camps, we take all of the resources, and since the next objective is Dragon, we go towards top lane as Caps, because once again, this is where we can pressure, this is where we can put this pressure point, and we're scanning for some vision in the meantime. We're not walking up too far, because if you look, like, we are in a little bit of threat, and we need to wait for our team to, like, put some pressure onto the map or get some more vision out. In this case, Caps uses the E fantastically. My bad. Caps uses the E fantastically to make sure that he's constantly out of threat range. And he's doing a really good job at getting the vision going. In this case, right now, what we see is that he's going back towards bot lane, taking the resources, taking the wave, and now they're going to eventually play on mid and top. This is a fantastic angle to play mid and top after they shove out bot, doing a little bit of a shove and move right here. And we see that we're closing in towards the end of the game. We're drawing some people towards bot lane. And eventually we're going to do a little bit of a shove and move while the rest of our team is eventually pressuring top. So once again, you see this multiple pressure points, and in this case, Caps gets out amazingly, which means that there's a possible engage up on top side, which is exactly what the team does. Caps draws 3 people, and instantly there's that engage onto the enemy Xayah. People seen it, right? The Jhin shot, which is pretty funny to analyze, right? I'll analyze the Jhin shot, and eventually this leads to us winning the game. So let's analyze this Jhin shot right here. I think it's a really good one to analyze. How comes that this Jhin shot lands? Well, this is genius from Hansama. Hansama actually put the shot in the perfect direction. So what do we actually see right here? Right? We see that in this particular situation, Rakan and Maokai are going to be blocking for the Xayah. But what we will see is that these guys are walking upwards. So it's very unfortunate, but my epic pen is not working. So I'll quickly fix up my epic pen so I can draw it for you guys. All right, so I can draw it for you guys right here. So what we're seeing is that these guys are in a line. This is where the Jhin shot can go, right? And you know that everyone has specific hitboxes. So Maokai has a slightly larger hitbox than Xayah, for example. So that's why it's also good for him to block. The only thing that Hansama does incredibly well right here is he recognizes that the enemies are moving out in this particular direction. So where Hansama precisely aims it, right, is he aims it at the spot of where Xayah is going to walk towards when his bullet is currently flying. They can make a few small more units when they're flying. And that way he can actually circumvent the Rakan hitbox and actually hit the Xayah hitbox. So to slow this down, right, I think it's really good if we slow this down. Look at the way that he's shooting it. He's shooting it upwards, directly of where the Xayah is walking towards. So it can actually circumvent the Rakan hitbox. As you can see, this Rakan hitbox is around right here. And it will eventually hit the Xayah hitbox, even though that they're lining up and actually in a straight line, so it prevents from hitting. And you can see that it was an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous shot, exactly of where the Xayah was walking, which makes it eventually like land. Absolutely stellar job by Hansama. Hansama honestly smurfed this game. Really, really good performance from him. I'm looking forward to what the rest of the G2 squad can do at Worlds right here. Got ourselves a great series versus Humble Life coming up today. So stay tuned for more content, guys.